Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, I'm once again taking a look at one of your designs that you recommended me on mod.io. And for today we're looking at another Speederbike that's put the flat atmospheric thrusters to very good use, and in this way it's been done so well with the fact it's been combined with a reactor. I'm just going to show you it right now. So coming all the way right behind me, here we go. So we've got two flat atmospheric thrusters, the half curved ones, then right in the middle we've got ourselves a small reactor to give this vehicle its power. But the way it's been done, and the way these blocks have been created by Keen, is that they work so well together. In fact, looking at it like so, you wouldn't even think there were separate blocks or three different blocks. It just merges together and just works well as a small back decorative piece in order to give it extra functionality without making an eyesore on the side of the vehicle. Come around over to here, looking at it like so. There we go. It's just absolutely perfect for how they slot in place. And of course you can still access these by putting your hands all the way through these little blades right here. That's the wrong side. Over to here we go. So yes, you'll have to reach your fingers, be able to access the, access panels to put your uranium inside. You might lose a few fingers here and there, but I'm pretty sure it's quite worth it to be able to drive this thing around. All the way over to here, this vehicle is called the G-28 Strider Speederbike, which, well, as I said, was a request from one of you. And if you've got anything you want me to show off on this channel, just use the link in the description below to my mod.io and just send me a message on that. Yes, pressing F10, finds in spawn menu, the Speederbike is 61 small blocks using the Automatons, Warfare 2 and Wasteland DLC packs. We see here a large bit of lore behind it, where it says, want to go from A to B in style? Speak no more, as the 50L Industries got your back with our latest model, the G-28 Strider Speederbike, built as a clean slate for you to personalize in your own way. The G-28 comes with a nuclear reactor to give you almost unlimited range, and don't worry, you won't get radiation sickness from it, as we have made sure it's 100% radiation proof to ensure our customer safety. Named after the water striders with how it gracefully flies across the surface like a water strider on water, but due to safety reasons the G-28 Strider has been limited to 20 meters per second going forwards. So there we are with the lore behind it. And of course down here is our specifications, so we can see its block count, PCU, grid mass, and of course its power usage. And if you've got any feedback about the vehicle, please comment on the Steam Workshop page about it. So just give this a thumbs up, move around towards the very front, have a quick look around the outside, go through the controls, drive around for a bit, and I think that'll be that. I suppose we will drive around quite recklessly at the end, break the speed limit, which we can do without actually fiddling with the event controller that regulates the speed. We just simply hold A or D in addition to moving forwards, and for whatever reason, that allows us to bypass the speed limit. We'll see that a bit later on. Anyway, for the very front of the Strider Speederbike, this is what we get, and that's a flat atmospheric thruster to help slow this thing down. Behind there and neatly tucked away is a spotlight to light up the darkness, which should make it a nice little pattern as well to shoot out its light in between all those fan blades. Anyway, surrounding all of that, we then got some lovely orange steel blocks to make up the main body of the ship. And on the left and right hand side, we see the start of our wheels for all of them on this thing, where they don't work. These types of vehicles are very unique because they do not use their wheels in a traditional fashion, rather they just skim along, like I said in the lore piece I just read out. It just skims along the surface with the wheels not moving, thanks to the atmospheric thrusters or any thrusters in general, to create a very odd sensation of not really driving a vehicle, but rather, well, once again like the lore stated, like gliding across water or even just moving through water in general. You spin this thing a whole 360 on the spot, even while moving at 100 meters per second. There's no risk with these types of vehicles, they are very sturdy, and well, just a unique way to drive a land vehicle. But yes, on the side there we see how our wheels have been set up. They've been slightly angled diagonally, but coming all the way around and looking at like so. There we are, that simply has been put. Coming all the way down, we see it slightly clipping down below the ground, but do not worry about that, that's perfectly safe. Much like the armored panel right above here, this white one, which is clipping into the wheel. But once again, it does not matter, because our wheels do not turn, they do not spin around, we are purely just gliding along the ground. Anyway, back and looking out on the side, there we go. So there's our atmospheric thrusters on the side next to our reactor, which we talked about at the very start of the video. There's our saddle cockpit to drive this thing around, and of course we've got some more orange blocks towards the back of this vehicle. Now below these orange blocks is where our main gubbins of how this vehicle is going to be properly working around, where at the front there, we're going to have a event controller just hidden all the way away. So down through here we go, so there it is right there. And of course coming towards the back here, and coming inside, and all the way down, there we go, we've got a gyroscope this side. Around towards the back, we will be able to see that gyroscope through this fan atmospheric thruster. There it is right there. And then of course there's a spotlight to act as your brake lights. Moving all the way up, looking down, here we go, it's got a nice clean back there. Again, like the lore stated, we've got plenty of places around this for you to upgrade if you want to. So if you did not want this to be a flat piece of steel block, you can just remove that and put a few more bits and pieces on here, such as cargo containers, maybe an ore detector, maybe an antenna, and even a turret if you want to retrofit that with a bloody great gun. Anyway, there's our reactor, across to our side of cockpit, onto the front there, and there we are. Once again, we could always remove these side sections right here, put a Gatling gun on there if you want some firepower. That's entirely up to you, but this time I'm not going to actually retrofit this with guns, we're just going to leave it as it is. I suppose before we actually go and get inside, come all the way down underneath it, there we go. So below this thing, unlike a lot of vehicles, this has been very well protected up with some armoured panels, and even above that, it's not going to be too much of a risk because this vehicle is very high off the ground, doesn't really go too close like a couple hover vehicles tend to go for. Usually they are very flat to the ground and do risk while blowing up if you go over a slight blip. With this thing, it's very high off the ground and does quite well on rocky terrain. And on that, that's it for the outside of the Strider Speederbike, and it looks bloody fantastic with how it's been set up. I absolutely love this section at the back here. It's so simple, but it pleases me so much, which is how well it just fits together. Anyway, coming back over to here, finding my character, coming all the way over to the seat, here we go, and hopping inside. Bringing up the HUD, we've got one tab to go through, where they're all very self-explanatory what they do, with number one's being for atmospheric thrusters on and off all the way around this vehicle, so now we cannot move this thing around, it's going to be perfectly stationary. Number two is then for that reactor next to your thrusters, where turning that off is going to switch the whole vehicle off, so turning it back on. And number three is going for your gyroscopes on and off. And then number four is going to be to attach your wheels in case you do take damage, so you can always lift this thing up with a piston system, like a piston with a magnetic plate below it, that will just reach down, clamp itself onto the vehicle, pull it all the way up, then you just attach some wheels, weld them up, and be on your way. But other than that, that's that for the controls. I suppose the only thing to talk about before I actually drive this thing around is going to be the power thing. If you don't want to use the reactor, you want to use this in survival mode, you can easily just grind it up and replace it with a battery. Yes, it won't have this snug fit like the reactor does right now, but it would allow you to use this vehicle with battery power, which is much more accessible early on. Anyway, reline the camera, here we go, moving forwards. And we're just going to move in a straight line first of all in this direction, so hopefully we can avoid all the trees. And as you can see, despite me holding forward, and you can't actually see me holding forward, that'd be kind of weird if you could, we're not really going any faster than 21.7 meters per second. Oh, just as I said that, we went up to 22, you get what I mean. We're basically soft capped at 20 meters per second, which was stated on the workshop page, and we won't go any higher than that for safety reasons. And of course, coming to a stop, there we go. Takes a little bit of time to come to a stop, that's not too bad at the end of the day, because we only are moving at 20 meters per second. There's not really any risk of you slamming into stuff at high speed, which is generally where the problems start to happen with land vehicles, and of course air vehicles in general. Moving left and moving right. Now this will not be limited by the speed, so we can just keep going left and left and left. Here we go, 25, 30, 35, 40. Yes, we go very fast on the left and right. No speed limit with that. But in general, you won't be actually driving this thing around because it could be very hard to actually see where you're going on the left and right. You're going to be sticking to moving forwards and backwards. And of course, the actual beauty of these vehicles and why I absolutely love these types of designs is because we now just spin this full 360. Does not matter if we're moving forwards, we can just spin it all the way around. So we'll say driving along here, and suddenly we see an enemy in distance, an enemy base, we now just spin this around, and away we go. Unlike a traditional vehicle, which can take quite some time to turn around depending on how you set up the wheels, this thing is very lickety-split, how it can turn around. And of course, what I stated at the start of the video, we can bypass the speed limit by simply holding down A or D on your keyboard, or whatever the control buttons are. And well, as we were to do this, as you can see, the speed limit is now going up. We need to be quite careful here, because there's a few trees. I'm just going to rotate this around. And there we are, we're now just bypassing speed limits, moving forwards, and we just keep going up and up and up. This does not matter because the thing is fairly stable. Although I say it's fairly stable, we now just try and rotate this around if I can. I think I might just screwed that up. Yes, I have. So I'm going to drop that down one more time, and we'll do it one more time. So off we go, here we are. We're now just going to drive this thing around, hiding all the HUD, we don't need any of that. And yes, this is a lovely little vehicle to get you from A to B in style and in one piece. Easy upgradable with what you want to do. Plenty of places around here where you can upgrade with a lot of different stuff like guns, reactors, or batteries even, and cargo containers, or detectors, antennas, whatever you need for your adventure. And I believe the final thing to do would be just to switch off that event controller and drive it around. But I'm not going to do that. We're just going to turn this thing around and then just move slightly to the left and somehow keep it slightly balanced. And we just keep going up and up and up till we hit maximum speed. So here we go, we're now approaching 70. And it is a little bit dodgy because we are moving on our side, so it does want to flip over slightly. But as you can see, we're now approaching 100 meters per second on this sort of flat surface. There's a few lumps and bumps here and there, but it's perfectly stable. And whoa, unlike a lot of vehicles, unlike vehicles that are very much closer to the ground, that's very bad. We're going to need to turn this thing around. Hopefully we can do fine. And it looks like it just blew up in one piece. As I was saying, unlike other vehicles that are much more closer to the ground, unlike other hover vehicles or other gliding vehicles that are much more closer to the ground, this one is very good at being in one piece, unless of course you would do a massive jump, which is what I just did right there. But anyway, other than that, there's not too much else to talk about this thing. It's just a lovely designed vehicle that you could have a lot of fun with in survival mode or creative mode, just driving it around. Perhaps you could make a race course and race around these types of vehicles if that's what you want to do, but I'll just leave that up to you. So there'll be a link to it in the description below if you should download it and play around it yourself. Highly recommend you do, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.